I, for the first time, am going to the Socialism Conference. For those that don't know, in the US, for a number of years, there's been a socialism conference that usually is in Chicago every year. When I was fresh out of college, it was run by a socialist organization. Now it is run by Haymarket Books, I believe, or maybe some other kind of entity. But it happens every year. 3 days of panels, conversations, revolutionaries, socialists, leftists meeting up and talking about radical theory, movement work. I'm going for the first time, and I've literally known about this since 2014. I've had some friends have some weird experiences at it that were black, but that was like 8 years ago. So I'm going now with a fresh pair of eyes, curious. There's a few talks I want to go to, and I want to just do this video, talk through the things that I feel and learn throughout the process, especially as an anarchist. I think going to gatherings and conferences are really cool when it's done in a way that's chill and educational and whatever it may be, or it's with the right people that are vouched for. And I think a general conference kind of setting like this is cool, especially under a second Trump presidency and all the fuckery that's happening. And I'm also going with an organization that I do social media for called In the Belly. So there's going to be a couple of things. I'm going to try to record as much as I can. My co-host for my podcast is going to. I've been packing and trying to do a bunch of work this morning. Hello everyone, we made it to the hotel, and I'm excited for the conference tomorrow. I'm mostly excited to see where the conference falls on the line of academic, more direct action, praxis, whatever the fuck you want to call it, oriented. How young will it be? How fun will it be? How many cute people will I meet? These are the important questions for me, so I'll check in tomorrow.
The next morning, and I've been at the pool. I slept okay last night, and sometimes instead of just not sleeping, I decide to wake up and do what I actually want to do, which is this.
Game during each conference called Spot the Fed. Because the feds would always send from Wow, it's so delayed.
Okay. Question for the audience. What are your socialism predictions this year? Do you think you'll be inspired?
Yeah, Austin's here.
Okay.
The anarchists are here.
Okay.
And that's what I'm excited for this year. I'm excited to see what's different this year, because what made it so exciting for a friend of mine in 23 was all the Stop Cop City and anarchists were here. The Black Indigenous radicals were here. There's only like 3 Indigenous panels this year compared to last year. I don't know. Let's see what's happening.
Yeah.
Libertarian socialist is not a sexy word. It's like I like using the word libertarian socialist, but now that I'm like, oh yeah, you got to hear it. I'm gonna make it sexy, and then now that it just got told at me, even with drinks involved. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the last time I was intimate with a socialist. I can't.
I'm gonna get my badge to register. We're registering. Still the first day of the conference. It's about 1 p.m. I haven't really done anything conference related so far. I've gone and registered. I walked around the bookstore. Lots of amazing books. I will say, for it being the first day of the conference, there's not a crap ton of talks that I'm particularly interested in. A lot of it seems more theoretical. A lot of it seems more grounded in analyzing theory and movements in a sort of overarching way, which I'm not saying has no value. And then there's a 4:30 talk that I think I'll definitely aim to go to. And I'll just say that when you're going to conferences or gatherings, it's important to go to as much as you can, but also not to overwhelm and overstimulate yourself. And even today so far, I ended up hanging out with some friends and we ended up meeting a former Black Panther Party member who I've read their work in the past. We've talked about it on my podcast, The Dugout. So these conferences can be really cool, even if you aren't ideologically aligned and I'm sure I'll have more reflections later, but that's the update for now. I'm in a meeting room. It's hot. I'm not wearing a mask because there's no one else in here. But I'm helping do setup for In the Belly for an event they're doing today that is basically incarcerated folks talking about the organizing that they're doing, the work that they're doing. I'm just kind of helping do basic setup at the table. I'm helping sort these things over there. So we have some In the Belly magazines here, some zines. I think this design is really, really cool.
In the Belly, we're going to do some intros and then walk through our questions. But first, we wanted to make just a couple of points of order. One, we're trying to have audience participation with our incarcerated comrades here, but do be aware that these are recorded calls. Anything that we are speaking about here is subject to monitoring by the Pennsylvania Department of Correction.
My name's Jair. This was an attribute given to me as I discovered kind of my desire for learning and teaching and kind of bringing light in this dark place that we happen to be in. Over the years, as I began to gain consciousness in this kind of troubled world we lived in, I was impressed by folks in the prison around me who just had so much knowledge and wisdom from studying history and from standing up against the oppression that they had been facing. So as I began to begin my tutelage under them and began to find a desire to want to find my place in that resistance and began learning, I found myself in dealing with the repression that comes from the state, whether you're in prison or out of prison.
And, In the Belly started in PA prisons in 2020 as a response to COVID lockdowns across the country. There were some incarcerated organizers, including Stevie Wilson, who saw the need for incarcerated organizers to be able to communicate with each other and organize and dialogue. So In the Belly was created as a forum and a platform for incarcerated people to actually do this work together and then engage with the outside world. I'm Indigenous. I think that's important to what we're doing here. Black liberation is at the center of our struggle. Land back and Indigenous solidarity is at the center of our struggle, and therefore Black and Indigenous solidarity is fundamental to what we do within In the Belly. All of our incarcerated organizers and editors up to this point are Black, and I think that's important to note. I mean, what we were seeing in 2020 is we were being contacted from the outside by a lot of mostly white and mostly higher upper class organizers, and we struggled with that dynamic, and we still struggle with it.
You even say that because, like my time in prisons, and we're talking about 70s, 80s, I'm still the Marxist, Leninist, Maoist, but my comrades, some of my comrades had also became Muslims. And just watching them and what it meant for them to enter into this world of Islam, that way of being, like it changed them in some really profound ways, different from when you just this, rugged, organizer fighter. It made me realize the importance of spirituality, even if you're secular. We need things that helps hold us together deep inside and recognizing the allness that we're connected to. So coming out of prison is where I tried to focus on that a lot. And I thought it was things that was missing from, we got too scientific back in the 60s and said too scientific. And when you get so scientific, you leave out the realities of indigenous spiritualities, whether they're from here, African, or folks coming from South Asia or whatever. We need all of this. We need it all. And not just on some symbolic thing like, oh yeah, we recognize that. But we got to be open to like learning from these experiences of others here on Turtle Island, that we can never forget that we're on Turtle Island. Why do we get so caught up into the America thing? So we don't take in the lessons that indigenous folks are giving us because we just on this scientific thing. It's got to be a certain way. You got to listen. You listen and you learn that, like, especially when having learned from the Zapatista struggle, you got to be open. This system will eat you up if you don't have ways to go deep to get the kind of sustenance you need, and broadly that you realize the connection to all. Stop making everything so objective. That ain't who we are. But I had to see a lot of that as my comrades was evolving in prison. And then coming out is like, what do I want to share? What lessons do I want now? We got to get there. And even you saying that you're Muslim, like our panel tomorrow with Muhammad Abdul and ourselves, a lot of that is on what's going on now with Palestine and other places, and how we have been so conditioned to be anti-Islam, anti-Arabic, anti-Muslim. Yet the most important lessons that we can probably grasp right now is them. But sometimes we so caught up into the Western modernism and all the other shit that we lose sight of them. We so stuck into saving this empire. The empire gotta go.
Today's actually been a really cool day. It was just beautiful. It was beautiful hearing the politics synthesized. It was beautiful realizing that I'm in community with people that are thinking seriously about abolition. It was cool to see the room packed. The Black Panther I met a few days ago, Ashanti Alston, was also there and got to answer a few questions and acknowledge to the room their experiences and understanding of spirituality when they've been in revolutionary spaces. And I've actually seen like a few people that watch my YouTube. It's really important to be in political spaces where you can be grounded in a politic that you respect and to understand what you're in lineage with. And I think being around so many different kinds of people, engaging in politics, understanding that my life is so committed to this, it's actually kind of like reaffirming and exciting, I guess. And so that event went really well. I took a lot of photos and video for their social media. And then I went to another talk, which was good. It was about Black media under fascism, and folks at Scalawag magazine did a really cool talk talking about being Black Southerners, the Stop Cop City movement, qualms and how it was depicted or how the movement developed and to some people's opinions was de-radicalized with the push for a referendum as opposed to more militant action against the Stop Cop City initiative. It's cool to be in a space where you hear people that care about it deeply engaging in it. And there was like a really cool discussion around rigor and how to remove it from Western associations, but still have journalism that is committed and in a practice of love. And I really fuck with that, because I did not go to journalism school. I fell into it through freelance, and I deeply respect community and movement journalism. So it was cool to go to that talk. It's so interesting for me now to go to larger spaces related to radical politics, because as I mentioned, the Black Panther I met was like, oh yeah, I've seen your YouTube videos. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm weighing a lot of things in my head about being proud of myself, sometimes feeling uncomfortable with some of the scale, also wanting to stay consistent and continue, because I'm also someone that really wants to see how far I can go, how much I can do, what I have the capacity for. But then when you're someone like that, especially with something that's so public facing as a platform, I love what I've been doing with this channel. It's just something in my head of like, okay, you want to be intentional about how this shows up in your life, how much value you're attributing to it, and where or how anxiety shows up. It's great, but I think there's just a shift in my life that I'm experiencing where I realize, okay, something is happening. And I think I'm going to dump a bunch of footage from today just so it's on my hard drive and I have that put and sorted. And then we're going to go to this happy hour. So I am currently leaving the conference and I'm going to go and get some Thai or Vietnamese food. There's a restaurant that's like a 20-minute walk away. I'm not far and it feels good to be just walking somewhere else, you know? So we're gonna head to this spot and recap some more of the conference. I haven't had fried spring rolls since I was in Vietnam. And I remember there was a night there that I went and got these, and I was really drunk. And they were the best spring rolls I've ever had.
That I think for our moment right now that we need to talk about is what war looks like right now. You know, within this long 1492 war where all wars fit, what is the war we're living right now? And another really useful theorization, I think, from the Zapatistas that they have been offering since the 90s is realizing that we're in a fourth World War. The Third World War already took place. It's the badly named Cold War. You know, it was cold for
being shared through the experiences that we're putting forth. I love the way that we even came together. I don't know how many decades now that we've known each other. Meeting in New York at Blue Stocking that they got to talk, and he was there, and like you say, he's in Canada. But we stay in touch. Being people, the Zapatista connection. But always communicating and
developing practical strategies for taking small steps that move us toward making our dreams real and that lead us to all to believe that things really could be different. It means living this vision in our daily lives. So abolition is both a practical organizing tool and a long-time organizing tool. So we think it's important to, again, ground us in that and to talk about how it applies.
I have gone to a couple of talks today. It's been really good. A talk with Shanti Austin, Muhammad Abdul, and then another writer named Linda, who wrote Palestine 1492. Really, really good talk about the nature of imperialism, freshening our language around it, looking at the conceptions of solidarity. It was a really affirming talk, and I think once again, it's important to come to these political spaces because we can go to talks that are really grounding. And you get to just meet really cool people. I ran into Cinemarxism, whose live stream I was on, and that was also cool. And I went to an event with them, and that one was about critical resistance and rapid network response to immigration and ICE detention. So really, really good. Last day, I'm going to help because we're in here setting up right now. And yeah. I'm gonna get back to it. I'll probably update him when the conference is done, but I have thoughts. Hello, everyone. We've made it back from the socialism conference. I actually recorded an end to this video that I filmed at socialism, but I'm just going to record another one now because I do feel like I want to. Oh my god, my plants are dying. I need to take care of my plants in my house. That's another thing. Like, look at this. What the fuck is going on? On like a basic, like reviewing the conference level, I found a lot of value in it. I also found some slight contradictions, meaning like, it's a socialism conference, but it's at the hotel, and like, how much does it cost to stay at the hotel? And then in terms of the food options there, it's like $20 meals, $40 tiny bottles of tequila at like the hotel, whatever area. So yada, yada, yada. There's just intrinsic questions you can ask about that. Is it an academic conference? Is it an academic leaning conference? How much money does it cost to operate it? Could that money be used otherwise in other ways that might be more whatever? I feel like that's a very baseline critique. Also will say that I was not someone that went to this conference and was like, I'm going to things every hour. And I go for the vibes, and I try to go to one or two things a day because for me, I know I get easily overstimulated with sitting down and taking a lot of information. I just need breaks. And so for me, when I go to conferences like this, I tend to search for the content or the material is interesting or engaging enough for me. And I do think a lot of the panels felt a bit academic. I didn't go to the ones I didn't want to go to. I went to the ones that I felt more aligned with. And so the things I went to, I liked. Like I went to Black Media Under Socialism. I went to one about with critical resistance about organizing against ICE through abolitionist lenses. I went to another one about Islam and spirituality. And I went to a few in the Belly events. So all of those are like aligned with my framework. There were plenty of things on the schedule where I was like, okay, that's great for someone else. And that's fine. But I do think what you offer brings in a certain demographic of people or tactics or approach. And I know I went and I tended to hang out with other folks that were more anarchist leaning. This isn't to say that I'm like segregated. I believe cross ideological spaces should exist and we can learn from each other and blah, blah, blah. But I do think there's other gatherings or conferences I've been to where I kind of liked it more based on what was offered. And I do think socialism does have value. I think it can be a great conference for folks that are newer into organizing or want to network and meet folks working on different things, or you're working on a particular project and you want to meet other folks in that area or region of organizing. Like, there's plenty of possibilities. There's all sorts of literature that you can also get. And it's just a really great way to meet people. That was one thing about the conference that I really enjoyed mostly, was like the different folks that I ran into or met for the first time, meeting folks that came up around the Black Panther Party era and talking to them extensively and talking about writing and realizing the media work I'm doing is recognizable to especially like Black folks and like older Black folks. And so I was just geeked. I got to talk to Ashanti Alston and other folks there. And if a gathering can bring me to certain connections or ways of learning or talking to people, I'm like, fuck everything else. I don't know. So I think there were just some connections I made where I just felt so grateful. I think the relational part of it is something that really feeds me, because yeah, you can go to a talk and it can give you skills and ideas and things to bring back, but getting human connection, getting to know people, I don't know, it's just really special. And I feel like I made connections that I want to like lean into more in the future. And it was fun also going with an organization that I was helping do like comms for. If you haven't checked out In the Belly, you should. I'll put their information in the description. It was interesting going to this conference, and it's the first thing I've done since this YouTube channel has grown. And so I got to meet a lot of folks that were there and came up to me and told me they watched the channel. And it's really, honestly, so grateful to like meet people and to understand that, oh, these videos and things that I'm putting out are resonating. Some of it also is kind of like, whoa, what is happening? Trying to process it in a healthy way, but also being like, this means some aspects of my life are changing. But it was really cool to have like the Black folks that I met come up to me, especially like older Black folks. I was just like, oh my God, you're watching my YouTube? So I won't say too much on this, but in a weird way, losing my grandmother last year, or two grandparents, and then all of the things I went through going to a funeral, and I've been thinking a lot about legacy, working through my relationship with writing, with making media. I've just had a lot of really intense feelings about legacy, and then even being an anti-capitalist, I know the way I approach my work, it's almost like, oh, if I don't do it, I won't, like, if I don't put in effort to this level, how am I going to get the things that I want out of an industry or world that doesn't really reward people like me that much? I feel like I have to work really hard to make any of this be of any kind of value to not only myself, but to anyone else. Sometimes that's intense and I don't feel like I'm doing enough, or I worry so much about discipline or consistency or commitment that it can be hard to realize all that I've gained and all that's possible. And I think I am really in a phase of appreciating the unexpected, committing to my goals and dreams, and also kind of still being able to look around and be like, wow, it's a beautiful life amidst all the fuckery and destruction. And of course, we have to organize. Like, I don't know, like, I was just going through a lot of things in my head internally at this conference, and I think understanding that the work that I'm doing matters both to myself and maybe to other people, that's something to be so humbling and proud of, and it just, like, means, like, I'm building something that I want to continue to be proud of, and that's a great feeling, and fascism is on the rise. Fascism is on the rise. Like, yes, I had all these conversations, and community will continue to matter. And there are so many other lessons I took away from the conference, but I hope this video gives you a glimpse into what it's like to attend these things. This is my perspective of it. You might see things differently if you go, for better or for worse, and I'm glad I went. I got to make a lot of cool connections, and I think spaces of radical gathering and education are really important, and we can always search for a diversity of tactics, even within a conference or gathering space or whatever it may be. So thank you for watching another video. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notify button if you want to be notified about new videos. I'm on Patreon if you want to support. Sign up for Means TV if you feel like it. And honestly, it's a post-birthday gift, but if you want to make me happy, buy my book. Buy my book. When They Tell You to Be Good. It's my memoir. The paperback is out. I love it. I love this book, and the more people that buy it, maybe this publisher will buy the second book. Yeah, see you later.